I'm talking to a veteran that was a government employee and voted for Trump that got fired. Derek recently retired after 2 decades of service in the Air Force. He was working at the Department of Agriculture to continue to serve his country. That's when he received a termination letter out of nowhere. And I really want to talk to you about how you felt that day on February 14th when you received that termination letter.
They basically threw us out like a piece of trash, veterans included. The way they went about this and the way they're currently going about this is cowardice. I have this letter sitting right in front of me about my termination, you know, and it says the agency finds based on your performance that you have not demonstrated that your further employment at the agency would be in the public interest. If you're going to fire people, have the grit and the gut to actually say why you're firing them. Don't be a coward. Matter of fact, in my whole 20-year military career, my performance has never been a question. The worst part is they're using, like I said, fear and intimidation. Like, who the hell are you to give Elon Musk to say, I'm going to fire you if you don't reply? Nobody elected you to fire anybody.
We had a tumultuous election season where people were really trying to decide who they were voting for. There was a lot of chatter on social media. So you ultimately made your decision. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that decision and then also how you're feeling now.
These are the comments that are out there. Is that if you voted for President Trump, then you deserve this. I think we should be careful on not having empathy in certain things when we talk about, well, who did you vote for? Because that can be taken way out of context. No matter who you vote for, it's okay to question, even if you did vote for somebody, a question. That's what we should be doing. Like, hey, wait a minute, you said this, and now you're not doing this. Like, okay, let's hold you accountable. I want an answer.
What do you say as a veteran who's now struggling, trying to figure out your next step to people who are pointing fingers and saying you deserve this?
A lot of that stuff, doesn't bother me because the one thing, as veterans, we're pretty resilient and we do, push forward on things. And I think that's one big mistake. And I'll backtrack this a little bit is that's one big mistake that Elon Musk made, I think, is he I don't think realizes the resolve of the American people and veterans. They taught us how to fight, and that's what we're going to do. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous in terms of what they're doing and what they can get away with. If President Trump sat there at his rallies and said, hey, because what he's doing right now looks a lot like Project 2025, which he repeatedly denied, even knowing it existed, right? But what he's doing looks a lot like that. Something doesn't add up. If he would have sat up there and ran on some of the things that he's doing, I don't think it would have worked out as well for him, And of course, like I said, the border is huge. And I think Biden did a horrible job on it. And I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing. But that, again, like I said, does not give him a free pass to just dismantle things the way that he's doing, because it's not the American way.